Hey guys, welcome back to the Music by Mads podcast, and welcome to the start of season 2. We did it. We made it here. We made it to a season 2. I took a bit of a break, had to graduate and move and get all settled in my new apartment and all of that jazz. So now I'm here. We are obviously not completely put together. I'm working on getting a set, but I need some more money first because moving was expensive, as moving is. So once we get there, we'll get some more, a prettier background. We'll have my cute little album covers back up, my logo back up. Maybe I'll keep the guitars back there, depending on how it all fits. But it'll look nice. It'll have the fairy lights again, maybe some colored lights, something fun. I have most everything. I just need like a backdrop to make it prettier, you know? Anyways, So today we're going to talk about the end of an era, the Eras Tour docuseries. I am so excited to talk about it. Before we get into that, I do have a couple items of business that we have to take care of. So I have a lot of fun topics coming up that I am thinking about for this season, and I'm hoping and praying that whatever setup I get, I can work in guests, and do more guests, because I think those episodes are much more fun when I'm talking to somebody else. We'll see how that ends up depending on space and such, because I can't have a guest if I don't have the space for a guest. And that's okay. That's just fine. We'll figure it out. I have a backup plan to incorporate more guests that I will talk about more at the end, because it's a secret right now. You'll see very shortly why that's a secret. I already said the other item of business I had written on my outline, so that was our one item of business for today. Okay, so let's get into it. I am so excited to talk about the docuseries, but to talk about the docuseries, you kind of have to talk about the updated concert film. And I am so excited to talk about the updated concert film. I loved it. I think Tortured Poets Department might be my favorite set. No, I think it might be my favorite set. It's phenomenal. It was just like, the visuals were stunning. The song picks were 10 out of 10. I think Fortnight and Down Bad might be my two favorites, which is so funny because I love both of those songs off of Tortured Poets, but going into it, I knew what songs were on the set for it. I didn't think I would choose those for my favorites. I think they aren't my favorites from the album either, but they're quickly becoming more favorites the more I listen. And it's just, I think having those in the concert film helped a lot to make them more my favorites. I don't know how to explain it. I just loved them. I loved the visuals. I loved how they incorporated the alien theme from Down Bad with the spotlight. Stunning visuals, stunning everything, stunning. What more can you say? Another thing I loved from the film as a whole was that they kept the transitions in. Because in the first film, they did not keep those transitions in. And I feel like watching them for the first time, I missed out on so much because I didn't get to go to the tour. I feel like I missed out on so much, and I'm so glad that we got to see them. I was very pleasantly surprised that at the Red transition, the transition into the Red era, it's so good because I was so happy to see that State of Grace got its moment. I think that is one of her strongest album openings. And I'm so happy to see it get its moment and that so many people knew all the words. It just makes me happy that everybody knew all the words and they were singing it, because I feel like that is such an underrated song. I feel like that is such an underrated Taylor Swift song. And I was so happy to see it get its moment. And I was singing along on my couch because that is one of my favorites off of Red, which the Swifties are going to kill me for this. Red is one of my least favorite Taylor Swift albums as a whole. I love songs from it. I love lots of the songs from it. As a whole, it is not my favorite Taylor Swift album. I would put it lower on the scale. Lover is also on the bottom of the scale. So sorry for my lovers, but the albums as a whole are not my favorite. I love the individual songs from them. I should have brought my water in. That's okay. Yeah, anyways, going back to Red. Talking about Red. Red's not my favorite, but State of Grace is on very high on my favorites list of songs. Very high. Especially right now. I go through phases, so it's like it can kind of go in and out. But love State of Grace. Absolutely love State of Grace. I think it needs more attention than it gets. Yeah. More attention for it, please. Anyways, it was a very lovely version of the tour. The new set was phenomenal. I have no notes. It was delicious. Except well done to all of the editors and the crew and everyone who worked on the film specifically. I feel like they aren't getting enough flowers right now. I feel like nobody's talking about it because, I mean, everybody's talking about Taylor Swift and the dancers and everybody because they're at the forefront. I think the editors of the film and the people who were so specifically helping craft the film itself deserve more flowers, and I thank them for bringing us something so visually beautiful and orally beautiful as well. Couldn't think of the word. And that's it. That's all I have to say about the film. We gotta get started on episode 1. Welcome to the Eras Tour. Or maybe I should say it like she says it. Welcome to the Eras Tour. I've seen that clip too many times, obviously, because I can say it exactly like she said it. Anyways, with episode 1, I did not expect her to come out this hard immediately. I loved the way she opened it with the final huddle. Because I feel like it encapsulated what the tour was, and I feel like that was important for us to see as an audience. What the tour was for the cast and crew, I should say, because it was different for the fans. It was really cool to see that callback in the last episode as well, and we'll talk about that more extensively, so I'm just going to kind of brush over it. It was exactly how they should have opened it. Like, cutting from this final huddle and then back to the very beginnings of the tour 4 years before it ended. Like, I love music documentaries because they talk about the technical things that go on behind, and I find it fascinating. Those are the only documentaries I ever watch. I am not usually a documentary watcher. Music documentaries, give me them all day. I enjoy them very much. I would have been happy if it was just the technical side. I would have been so happy just learning about the technical side, but I am so grateful that we got all of the stories from the dancers and like all of the emotions and people side of it as well. I think that was a very important bit that we got, and I'm very happy that we did. Another thing I thought was so cool and so important was showing Taylor meeting all of the dancers and watching her shake everybody's hand and introduce herself to every single dancer. Like, you didn't see her do it like all the way through the circle, but you saw her, each one, hi, I'm Taylor. Like, hi, nice to meet you, I'm Taylor. As if we don't know who she is, but it's very, very polite and very kind of her and very like down to earth of her to do that. And I think it shows why she's such a good boss. In part, it's just, it was very, like, it's very respectable, I think is the word I'm looking for. Respectable to watch her do that. And actually, we're going to come back to her leadership many times throughout the episode and for another thing that I'll talk about at the very end. So please stay till the very end so you can learn about the new thing I'm starting for the podcast. It's pretty special. I think you guys will enjoy it. So hopefully you stick around to see that. Yeah, it's just the way she shook her hand, shook everybody's hands and introduced herself to everyone. It just shows a lot about her character as a person. you can argue all day that it's just her on camera. Like, who cares? It just shows who she is, as long as she's just kind to people. And you hear that behind the scenes from everybody she knows as well. It's very respectable and inspiring to see someone in a position of power and be able to be like, oh, I want to be that kind of boss if I'm ever somebody's boss, you know. They also, oh my gosh, I was also so happy that they brought up Swiftnomics, because that was such an important and impactful part of the tour, outside of just being a fun tour that everybody got to go to and experience. Literally boosting the economy of every city you stop in is insane. It's an insane achievement. And I thank all of the people who went for helping be a part of that, and boosting the economy to all of these towns and cities. Go them. It's just each city saw an economic boom during and after the tour stopped by, because people were spending money in their town, in their town. Crazy. Wild. I hope every tour does that for cities, because, I hope tours are able to do that for cities. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. I got lost in the sauce there. We're going crazy. We're going to take a complete 180, because the episode took a complete 180, and this is where she got me, and where I was like, whoa, this is some hard stuff for the very first episode, because she talked about Vienna and the knife attack in London that happened during the European leg of the tour. It was really heartbreaking to watch her talk about it, because she was heartbroken talking about it. She was speaking with so much respect for the people who were victims of each thing. So I should back up, because some people may not know. Some people may be hearing about this for the first time. If you're a Swiftie, I'm assuming you already know, but other people may not. Vienna, the shows in Vienna were all canceled because of a planned terrorist attack that was going to happen at the tour. And the law enforcement in Vienna, I am so thankful for them. They caught at least it's been so long, so I don't remember all of the details, but they caught at least most of the people involved. They were connected with ISIS. It was crazy. It was a crazy thing. It reminds me of Ariana Grande's concert in Manchester and what happened there. If you don't know about, I would just look that up, because it was very sad. I had a family member, an extended family member, who was going to go to shows in Vienna, and I'm so thankful that I'm so sad that she wasn't able to, but I'm so thankful that she wasn't able to, for that reason, where the concerts would have become something so sad and so devastating. And then I think even within days of each other in London, there was a Taylor Swift themed dance class going on for kids ages 6 to 11, and someone came in and with a knife and started stabbing kids, and I think only 3 were killed in the attack. But it's hard to talk about now for me, and I wasn't it was so sad. I started crying. She's crying on screen, I'm crying on my couch. I'm it was so devastating. And the part that especially got me was her sitting on the couch breaking down right before her show, where she has to go out and entertain a bunch of people in London after meeting with families of the victims of this attack. And just so devastating, so like such a heartbreaking experience for everybody on the tour and all of the fans who were going to go to these shows, who are from London. Was it Manchester? No, London. Yeah, it was London. Oh, I'm thinking about the other thing. So heartbreaking and such a hard thing to go through. And she talked about it in the episode too. Is like before London, it was different. Like it felt different to try and go up on stage and perform, which is terrifying. I could not do that. The strength performers have to do anything like that's beyond me. I could never. It was terrifying and very sad, and I'm so thankful for law enforcement in Vienna, like I said earlier, who caught the people who were planning this attack, and law enforcement in London who I believe caught the person who went into that dance class and then were so vigilant around the shows to make sure nothing was going to happen to Taylor Swift and her team and the fans, especially since it was such a huge event at Wembley. I'm also really glad that they highlighted that, because I feel like when around the time it happened, people were mad at Taylor Swift and her team for not saying anything, but it could have been really dangerous for her to say anything, like for her and her team to say anything. So I'm glad they are able and were willing to address it in the docuseries, even if it made me cry. I'll cry if you're addressing something that was terrible in a big moment in your tour that was scary, and you are able to address it and just tell people how you felt during that time, even though it was like you weren't yet, especially when you weren't able to. Like, this is just a mess of words because it's sad and I'm sad about it. I like total 180 from starting with the absolute joy the tour was, and how it was like, it was just jarring how she went from all of this joy, even this bittersweetness of the tour ending in the final huddle in the first moments of the episode, and then all of a sudden switching to these two very jarring and scary attacks, or thwarted attacks that happened in Europe. It's just terrifying moment in time. I remember seeing that, and I was so sad when I saw that on the news. I need to stop talking about it because I might make myself cry. Thinking about it is just very sad. And I'm glad we got to I can't move on from it. My outline says I can't. There's a little more I have to talk about because Vienna was right before Wembley in London, and so she got to bring out Ed Sheeran as a guest, and I think that is exactly what everybody needed, but especially Taylor in this moment, because her and Ed Sheeran are longtime friends. I love their songs together. Those are some of my favorites from her features, like from songs she has features on. I think he was so needed in that moment for her, and then for fans getting to have that be a special moment during the Wembley shows. Yeah. Then all in all, I loved the spotlights that we got to see from people from each branch of the tour. We got to hear from the dancers. We got to hear from people in her band and who have sung with her for years and years. Like 15 years, I think, is the longest, somebody said, which is at that point had been most of her career. Like, that's probably from her first big tour. If I'm doing my math right in my head, which we're just passively doing math in my head, who knows how accurate that is. It's so cool to see all of these different perspectives from people who are brand new, from people who are veterans, from people who are in the band, from people who are dancers, who are on the crew, who do more of the management side, from the team looking out for the weather in Miami during those rain shows, which is later on. Just really interesting and very cool to see. So then episode 2, which is Magic in the Eras, we get a highlight on the Tortured Poets Department set. So very exciting. I loved seeing, this was also like kind of a dance feature, talking about the more technical dance sides of it. And we got to see how they did Florida for London, because that was not originally it was part of the set list for one night. So just to watch everybody coordinate, they used it to talk about all the branches, but specifically dance was a big highlight. And watching Amanda and Mandy Moore choreograph and get that all put together with the dancers, and then bring in Taylor and Florence Welch. And Florence Welch, is that her last name? Panic. Hopefully I'm right. But Florence from Florence and the Machine. You know who I'm talking about now. To see them all come together and bring this image to life. And seeing how all of the tour was slowly put together in a very real way. But this was a rush. Like, it wasn't a rush job because it wasn't sloppy. It was very well done. But it was a rush to get it done. And to see the band work on the arrangements and them practicing with the transitions from, I think it was right after Daddy I Love Him, in the set list, and just go from there into Florida. It just I can't even put into words how fascinating it was to watch how their processes work. It was insane. It was wonderful. It was very wonderful. Can't even lie. I don't know why I would lie, obviously. But anyways, every person who worked on this tour is absolutely the best in their industry. All of these dancers were privately invited to audition for the Eras tour. Everybody was able to, the long time band members who have been there for 15 years, they know what it's like. They've been on this tour. They are absolutely some of the best of what they do. And wow, amazing. I love that Amanda, who is one of the choreographers, got to dance again, because she was fully retired from dance, and she got to come back out of retirement to dance again, which is fantastic. Amanda, I love your resume. Your resume is incredible. I love you. You're literally the coolest. And I'm so glad she got to do one more tour. Like, I am so glad. I love her work. I didn't realize I knew who she was until she was talking about all of the things she did. She danced for Lady Gaga for a while. I think she said 5 years. She danced for Janet Jackson. She danced for Taylor Swift, obviously, but she also had a huge dance cameo. Well, I wouldn't say huge, but it was a big portion of Another Day of Sun from La La Land. She's the girl who's dancing over the median and that one part in Another Day of Sun in the yellow dress. That, I didn't know who she was, but she was phenomenal in La La Land. I loved her in La La Land. Incredible resume. Fantastic. So glad she got to come out of retirement for one more tour and do this. And I'm glad she's a choreographer now too, because she did a phenomenal job alongside Mandy Moore, who, if you don't know, Mandy Moore, the actress, and Mandy Moore, the choreographer, two different people. Mandy Moore was the choreographer for La La Land. She also did, what else did she do? I'm forgetting everything she's ever done, but La La Land is the big one because that's where her and Amanda worked together. I think the first time. Maybe the first time. I don't remember. I don't have it in my notes. Yeah. We're doing great. Anyways, she's so cool. Both of them are so cool. I also loved possible Rite of Spring reference from Taylor Swift. I'm pretty sure she said Rites of Spring, so maybe it's a different thing that I don't know about, but in my classical music heart, I'm going to say it was Rite of Spring, and incredible. Thank you for knowing what Rite of Spring is, even if it's one of the most famous classical music pieces. She knows ball on that one. Anyways, we love Cam. We love Cam so much. He is such an amazing dancer, and his story is so inspiring. We also adore his mom and his brother. Can we all get a collective thank you, Colin, for getting Cam to the audition for the Eras tour? Because Cam called his brother Colin, who used to play. I don't remember if he still plays. I cannot remember for the life of me if he still plays for the Kansas City Chiefs. But, another connection. Fun. Everyone say thank you, Colin, for getting his brother to the audition for the Eras Tour. Because this is when they were talking about the emails. Every dancer got an email saying this is an invite-only audition for a tour. We can't tell you the artist. We can't tell you who it is, but we want you to come on an audition. And he was like, I need to go to this audition. So he called his brother and was like, Colin, I feel like I need to go. I absolutely cannot afford to go. And he's like, we'll get you there. And now look where we are. The world knows Cam's name. Everybody knows who Cam is, who has paid attention to this tour. And we love Cam. We love Cam with all of our hearts. He's so fun. His sunglasses during that episode were amazing. I also love his mom, and that we got to see his mom and just see them interact. That she is an inspiring person as well, because she has 2 sons who are at the top of their game in their fields. They are some of the elite in their fields, doing things that some people only dream of, and she raised both of them. Like, incredible work from Cam and Colin's mom. She's an inspiring person, and it's just everything about with the dancers. It's the way that Taylor also wants everybody to be seen and featured. Like, she doesn't mind. She literally said, I don't care if they pull focus. Like, I want them to pull focus from me. I want people to see the cool things that they're doing. And that goes back to the Florida set where Mandy Moore's showing her the choreography, and she's like, yeah, we're going to have you guys down here, but in the background, this is what's going on. And she's like, well, like, could we also be up there? Because if we're not up there, no one's going to see this really cool thing that's happening. And I want them to see it. And so they reworked it so that her and Florence could be up on the platforms above everything else, doing this cool wave thing so everybody could see it. Like, that's insane work. It's not that insane, but we love it. It's so cool. It baffles me how baffles is the wrong word, but it's astounding to see somebody be so kind with their work and to see an environment where everybody is just so happy to be there, even on probably one of the most grueling tours they've ever worked on ever. And then one of the best parts of this episode, I think almost the best part of this episode, was bonus day and getting to see bonus day. Because fantastic. It's amazing. Nearly $200 million in bonuses were given out to people on this tour. The truck drivers reported $100,000 bonus, and which is a life-changing amount of money. That is insane for a bonus on top of your salary already. That is a life-changing amount of money. Then the dancers, we don't actually know what they got, and I'm not prying, but somebody was trying to guess, and they said they think that each dancer got $750,000 as a bonus. And that, like, it was so special in the episode too. I'm gonna cry again, dear goodness. It was so special in the episode too to watch Cam be the one to read that, going from his story of being like, I literally can't afford to get to this audition, calling his brother, can you please help me get to this audition? I feel like I absolutely need to be here, be there, to reading this note about this bonus he's getting. It was you guys get to watch me cry, apparently. It was just really special to see that. And I think that's what needed to be highlighted, obviously, and they did a good job telling that story. Anyways, Taylor Swift, if you need a podcast or a social media person, I have limited experience, but all the enthusiasm in the world. I'm partially kidding because I don't know that tour life is for me, but I got you, girl, if you need me. I'm, casually calling a 36-year-old woman a girl in this context. It's GURL, girl. The amount of respect that gave me for Taylor. Like, I already respect her so much as a businesswoman and an artist. Like, call me basic, whatever you want. Call me basic for liking Taylor Swift. Who cares? First of all, I'm a basic white girl. Of course I'm gonna like basic white girl music, which is not necessarily basic white girl music. But anyways, I have so much respect for her as a person, and I think more people should, because she has time and time again proven that she is respectful and kind to people at every chance she can get. I mean, for crying out loud, her and Travis were handing out $600 to people on Christmas Day. I think it was on the Christmas Day game. They were just going out around handing out $600 to people as tips. Like, she doesn't have to do that. She's just there to watch a football game. She doesn't have to go around tipping everybody, but she does. Other celebrities probably wouldn't do that. And it just gives me so much respect for her to see how kindly she treats others, and her employees especially. Because like I said, some of her band members and singers have been with her for years and years, literally 15 years. You don't stick with somebody for that long, for that many tours, unless they are a good boss and give you respect and care for you as a boss. Like, you don't stick around that long if they're not a good boss. I digress. Anyways, it's so much respect for her. So much respect. Anyways, episode 3. Anyways, here we go. Episode 3, called Kismet. Naturally, from The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter. I loved the use of invisible string to represent her career. It is very different from what that song originally meant to her, and I think it is the best change and best representation of her career to have all of these invisible strings tying her to big moments in her life as she's working hard. Like, I thought it was a wonderful pull. In fact, I thought all of the music pulls for the background were amazing. I was so proud to know every single one of them. I was so proud because they were a little bit deeper cut. They weren't the deepest cuts, but they were deeper cuts than her most popular. She obviously had like Shake It Off Play, and like I think she had Karma or Bejeweled and at one point, but she had State of Grace. She had Invisible String. She had It's Time to Go. Oh, that one killed me. That was in the last episode. That's diabolical to put It's Time to Go underneath the final moments for crew, like people on this tour. Diabolical choice. The exact right choice. She should have done that. Anyways, I loved to see what people were doing during their breaks, spending time with their families, catching up on what was going on with their families, catching up on being a normal human and not just being on the biggest tour in the world. It was very fun to see that and very comforting. Then we got to see the costumes. First of all, I'm so glad their costumes got their moment. The costumes deserved a moment. All of the designer tie-ins, so smart, so dang smart. To tie in people who have worked with her throughout her career for the different eras they worked with her is genius. I salute her costume, her stylist. He knocks it out of the park every single time. The Louboutin quote got me. It was really funny. Like, wearing Louboutins, it's a privilege for these feet. It's a privilege for these feet to ache like this. Yeah, it is, because they're Louboutins. Incredible. I'm also glad they talked about the fan costumes, because as soon as the Rep bodysuit debuted, the new one debuted, people were on it. Like, the next set of nights, Like, she did all the Miami nights, and then the next set of nights, people had Rep TV, like the gold Rep bodysuit on lock. They already had it. Insanity. Wonderful insanity. The things people created for this concert, to wear to this concert, was incredible. Then the other thing I loved about this episode was getting to highlight Jesslyn. This part also made me very sad. I didn't cry during this part, but she's amazing. I am in awe of her and what she went through during this tour. She was diagnosed with breast cancer during the tour, and she completed radiation during the tour. In between, from when she was diagnosed to seeing what kinds of treatments she needed to get done, she was still up there performing every single night. And then when she told Taylor, like, oh, hey, I have breast cancer. I need to take time off to do some radiation. She was like, okay, do what you need to do, and then come back when you're ready. No questions asked. And absolutely insane of Jesslyn to finish radiation and then hop on a plane to go perform. I probably would have been like, give me a week at least just to cool down again, just to get back into the swing of things. But I am in awe of her and very inspired by her strength and how much she went through during this tour. Anyways, then I also loved the working out. The thing Taylor Swift said about working out, she's like, I've never worked out this much in my life. It's awful. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds about right. Not helping my motivation levels to go to the gym, but it's correct. And then just showing how she comes up with her mashups in the episode, like for day of. If I had to do that day of, I think I would have wrecked on stage. I would have goofed it up so hard. I would have had to practice that for weeks to get it right. Insanity. Crazy. Then we've got episode 4, Thank You for the Lovely Bouquet. Also a reference to The Life of a Showgirl featuring Sabrina Carpenter. And here it comes. One of the points I was so excited to get to see in this, because it's been so different this time around. We got to see so much of Travis. Well, we didn't get to see him, but we got to see hints of him throughout the whole thing. We didn't get to see him the whole time because he also has a job. We absolutely love Travis. I am so proud to say that from the beginning, I knew they at least would last a while. And now we know they're going to last ideally forever. And I'm so proud to say I was within the first crowd of being like, oh yeah, this is the real deal. Like, this is not just like a couple month fling. I was so proud of myself knowing that I was like that. Anyways, we love Travis. We'll circle back to him in a moment because we need to take a break to talk about Wiley. And we love Wiley. Before I actually talk about this part, I need to call in a little help. So, Music by Mads friends, will you give a warm welcome to my sister Callie to talk about one of her favorite parts of the docuseries?
Hello, I'm Callie, and my favorite part of the Taylor Swift documentary is when Wiley was able to dance with Taylor Swift and all the backup dancers during the Ready For It song, which was really cool to see.
Thanks, Callie. I'm so happy to have her on the podcast. She is my first family member to be a guest on the podcast. So exciting. She's only the second guest on the podcast because, if you remember last season, my best friend Eden was on. Yeah, thanks, Callie. This was also one of my favorite parts of this episode was Wiley. It was such a joy to see how supportive everyone was of him swinging for Ready For It, which a swing, they explained it. A swing is somebody who is trained on other dances in addition to the ones they already have, so that if somebody needs to go out for a night or two, or an extended period of time, they can come in seamlessly and they know what's going on. I love that he fit into Amanda's costume. I mean, what are the chances that the exact same measurements for him to do Ready for It. And it's like, I loved how she was just like, oh yeah, just try it on, like see if it fits, and then we'll have Taylor sign off on it. And then it fit, and she went to Taylor, and all Taylor was thinking about was like, does he have a costume? Like, how are we like, he can, like, I'm totally fine with it, we just got to make sure he has a costume, right? And they showed her the video of him dancing, and she was like, this is amazing. Yeah, of course he can be in it. Like, 10 out of 10, of course, as long as he has wardrobe, right? It's fantastic. I just loved how inclusive and excited everybody was about him doing it, especially since Ready for It was just the female dancers on the tour. Those were the people who did Ready for It. And then, so him swinging for Ready for It was big deal, kind of. Like, it was a pretty big deal, and people noticed it. People were excited about it. It was so awesome. I just love that the only thing she was worried about it was like, well, does he have a costume? Like, I don't know. If he doesn't have a costume, then no, I guess. But if he has a costume, then of course, like, no questions asked. As long as he can dance it and has a costume, right? Wonderful, 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 wonderful. Another thing I loved was that she did talk about her relationship and then the 2 breakups she went through. She's like, that's a lot of breakups for a tour. It's like, yeah, it is. That would suck. And everybody's been sharing it. I loved Men Will Let You Down, the Eras Tour Never Will. Naturally. So fun. But the best part about this is when she was talking about it, she was back with the swinging. She was leading into telling everybody and showing us what happened to get Travis on stage. I love that she thought he was joking. She was like, they were just joking around like, oh, we could put you, like, if you wanted to be in the tour, we could put, and she just all of a sudden was like, oh, you're serious? Oh, you want to do this? Okay, let's put our heads together and figure out when you can do this. So fun. The perfect place for him to be in it was Before I Can Do It With a Broken Heart. It was just silly enough. It was just perfectly silly for his personality. I think he's probably still a little sad he didn't get right out on the blank space bikes. But that's a different liability and probably would have been dangerous, during NFL season. But it was so fun to see that on Instagram, like the day or two after it happened. Phenomenal. One of the other things that made me excited about it was how welcoming the Swifties were. Like, not to beat a dead horse, but it's the difference between all of the Swifties being absolutely excited that he was on stage. Literally, Taylor Swift herself saying, I think that's the loudest it ever got on tour because people were so excited to see Travis on stage with her, versus NFL fans being mad and annoyed that the organization, the NFL, was showing Taylor Swift attending a football game. Like, she is aware that the cameras are on her, but she's not asking for the cameras to be on her. And I know I'm beating a dead horse on this one. It's been talked about forever and ever. But it's the difference between those two that is so... It's so funny to me. I'm like, come on, guys. She's just attending it. She's not looking for the attention. She knows there's going to be attention on her, so she has to keep up her persona. She knows there's going to be attention. She can't just, like, drop it. She has to keep up her business persona while she's just trying to enjoy a football game. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of mind bending you have to do. It's a lot of, like, switching back and forth from being a normal person from being Taylor Swift to being Taylor Swift. Like, it's a lot. Anyways, wrong target for your complaints. The NFL is the target, and they've calmed down. They've calmed down, and it's okay. Anyways, she just wants to support her fiance. That's okay. Then this part was so this episode was so packed with things because we also got to see Miss Sabrina Carpenter. It's the way that Taylor kept calling her a child because she's so tiny. I was dying. Like, I don't know if this is child abuse. Insane comment. I loved it. It was so funny. I also absolutely loved the moment where you can just see Sabrina being like, oh my gosh, Taylor Swift is singing my song. but like, oh crap, I gotta play this cool. Like I gotta be calm about this. I gotta be like, because I'm in a professional setting. I can't just fangirl right now. But you can just see it all over her face, being like, oh my goodness, Taylor Swift is singing my song right now. Like you can see all. It's just so fun to get to see these people who were huge fans, who were inspired by Taylor Swift, getting to be professionals alongside her. Phenomenal. I would have been the exact same way too. Like I would have been the exact same way. The man's best friend tease was genius. And if you don't know what I'm talking about, and you've seen the video of the phone call with Sabrina, so she called her on stage. She's like, oh, like, hey, where are you right now? Like, goodness, it sounds really loud where you are. And she's like, yeah, I'm on a roller coaster. It's so loud here. And she's like, wow, it's loud here where I am too. Do you think you could like put on some clothes, which is a reference to Goodbye, which is the last track on Man's Best Friend without the bonus track. That is a reference. That is a lyric. And she's like, oh yeah, how long would it take for you to get here? And then Sabrina goes, maybe like 5 seconds. And then she comes up on the stage. It's so fun. Easter eggs aren't just for Taylor, y'all. She Easter eggs for other people as well. Anyways, oh, that was so fun. I love watching people in the arts collaborate because they always have such a fun time when you see it. If they aren't having a fun time, they're not showing you. So episode 5 is called Marjorie. I love that this whole thing is just a family business. It's just a family business. And it's a bit of a head in the docuseries, but I feel like we never get to see her interact with Austin, her brother. And I'm very happy we got to see more of that and see their relationship as siblings and see them on tour together like he's been for most of her life. Like crazy, like most of his life. It's most of both of their lives. It's wonderful to get to see them interact with each other because we just haven't gotten that before. Her and Gracie's mashup also was phenomenal. I can't remember which mashup this was because she comes back. Spoiler alert. She does come back. I think this was Secret of Us because they just got nominated for the Grammy for it. It was good. It was really good. I liked it. I did love the spotlight on Marjorie herself. That is one of my favorite songs off of Evermore. Marjorie is her grandma, who passed away when she was 13, I think. And she was an opera singer and wanted to be a famous opera singer. And her story was so wonderful, and I'm glad that Taylor's mom got to tell it. Because it's her mom. She's talking about her mom, and getting to watch her daughter live out her mom's dreams in a different way, but like essentially the same dream of singing around the world. It's one of my favorite songs off of Evermore, and I love that they were able to mix Marjorie's voice into the recording and into the tour. So she got to sing in a stadium every night of the tour with Taylor, which is wonderful. Such a wonderful, wonderful tribute to her grandma. I loved how they used it in an episode about Taylor and her dancers as kids and knowing what they wanted as kids, and how so many of the dancers and singers got to honor their moms during the episode, specifically Camilla, I think it was, whose mom had passed away fairly recently, just a few years before the tour, maybe a year before the tour, and getting to her and her getting to pay tribute to her mom in that way. It was very special. Yeah. So it's crazy. This is one of the highest quality live shows I've ever seen. Even, like, I could tell from grainy videos on social media. I could tell from the concert film. I wish I could have seen it live to tell you from that, but you can see how much care was put into every aspect of it, and I love that. Another thing I really loved was the highlight we got to see on The Life of a Showgirl and her recording process for that. I'm glad we got to see Max Martin and Shellback and Taylor all working together again, because that is something she's mentioned she wanted for so long, was to work with them again. And I loved getting to see how happy she was during the recording process, and putting together and arranging those songs and writing with Max Martin and Shellback, who are her peers, but also people she looks to for mentorship and sees as mentors. Such a wonderful, wonderful thing. Okay. And then the final episode was called Remember This Moment. What a fitting title, of course, referencing Long Live, which is about the end of an era, and starting a new age, and hoping that people want to come into the new age with you. And kicking it off with the news reports about the last weekend of the tour over the manuscript was such a raw and amazing choice. It's perfect. The manuscript is about her discography, her entire discography. Like, the story in the last line is like, now and then she rereads the manuscript, but the story isn't mine anymore. Maybe she says I read the manuscript, but I think it's she. And she's talking about how the story is now for the fans. Like, they give new meaning to each of the songs from these different eras of her life. It's really beautiful. It's just kind of it was a great closer for Tortured Poets Department, and it was perfect for this episode, and running these news reports of the last weekend of the tour over it. And girl, she loves running news reports over intros or outros of things. Because this was the intro of the last episode, but kind of the outro for the tour. And then she also did it with the Reputation Stadium tour. She layered all of the horrible news reports that were going on about her right before Reputation came out. And like during when Reputation came out, when she announced the tour. And she layered it over the intro. And that was the intro to her tour. And then she invited all of those reporters to come watch and hear their voices, so they could report on her tour and listen to all the things they said about her. Ooh, that is a level of petty that I only strive to be. I'm just kidding. I try not to be petty. Yeah, I try not to be petty. Try is the key word there. But layering it over the manuscript got me emotional. The letter from Travis also got me emotional. It was very sweet. I don't think she even finished it. Finished reading it, and she just I think she just kind of trailed off and it didn't finish reading it for us, but it was perfect. And then she hit us with the Never Grow Up and The Best Day and her whole family there. Girl, give us a break. I'm trying not to cry on my couch watching it. She couldn't even sing it. How are we supposed to listen to it without crying? That is, I think, probably the most special moment of this docuseries was watching her sing two of her songs about her family to her family. I don't know how she made it through that song. I would have cried from the very first beginning. And just everybody talking about, so many things happened. It was just a very good wrap-up episode because everybody was talking about how much they loved working on the tour, how much they loved working with her. It seems like it wasn't only magical to be in the audience. It was magical to be part of the tour. And that makes me very happy for them. And it was so fun to watch all of them talk about it, including Taylor. Because she was it's so special to be part of something that drives culture, because we expect 20-something-year-olds to drive the culture when they don't even know who they are. Half the time, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. Of course, I don't want to drive culture, but it is crazy. She's like, I hate how much we put emphasis on youth driving culture. And so she thought it was so special to be in something that drove culture as a 34 to 36-year-old. Maybe it was 33 to 35. Yeah, 33 to 35-year-old. And getting to be part of a culture defining moment. Wonderful. Another thing I loved was her mom saying, I hope they honor this little time just for her. When I tell you people aren't, and that has been making me so mad. There's, like, people keep coming up on my feed being like, oh yeah, she's going to announce a tour this spring. What about, no, I don't feel like going on tour for a while, says, I'm going to announce the tour in the spring to you. Like, I know this whole docuseries was about how much she loved this tour and loved being a part of it and creating it and bringing it to the fans. But do you remember the part where she said she's exhausted? That she just wants to live her life a little bit? Do you remember the part where she was talking about Ed Sheeran after the European leg and being like, I just want to disappear for a little bit. I don't want to feel like I'm being hunted like an animal. And Ed Sheeran was like, yeah, people seem to forget that you're human too, and you're just a person. Do we not remember that part? Do not be the crowd that's chanting more right now, when she has told you explicitly, I'm not doing more right now. Now, I may be wrong. I don't think I am. I may be wrong, and I'll be pleasantly surprised if I'm wrong. But I do not think she's going on tour again anytime soon. I think she won't go on. My personal theory is I don't think she's going on tour until after TS13. I don't think she's doing it. I think she's going to take a break. I think she's going to enjoy being engaged and planning a wedding. I think she's going to enjoy getting married and being a newlywed and spending time with her fiance and soon-to-be husband and enjoying that. And those are my thoughts. I loved her mom saying that. I hope they honor this little bit of time just for her. And we should be. We should be. Anyways, I'm going to get off my soapbox on that one. Beautiful and brutal last show mashup. I think I would have died if it was in person. It was Long Live, The Manuscript, and New Year's Day, like, mashed up together in the most complicated way possible, which is devastating. I would have died. Yeah. Yeah. And then so many, like, raw emotional things, but so many fun little quips, like, is it time for me to get in my little outfit? You mean your Versace bodysuit? Your Versace bodysuit that everybody is clamoring to see if there's a new version of every single night? Yeah, your little outfit, I guess. That's your little outfit. And then the callback footage. And then we go back to the emotional stuff with the callback footage from the first episode where she's in the final huddle and it's extended and she gets to talk about seeing her dancers and her band as little kids and wanting these things and wanting to be part of this tour and getting to be part of this tour. It's just, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful last show speech and I loved it very much so. And then I cried because the very ending where she talks about her buying her masters, getting engaged, and releasing another album. I don't know what it was, but it got me so bad. Every single time, like, I've talked about this once before. I cried when she got her masters back because that is something that has been such a big part of her platform ever since I came back to her music. Because I took a little break there because I didn't have a phone and I was listening to mostly what my parents would listen to. And they just kind of veered away from her music for a little while. And then, so I veered away and then I came back. But she was just getting to read that letter about her getting her master's back. I got out of class. I remember that. I got out of class at 9 a.m. and I opened my phone on the walk back to my car going to work. And I immediately texted my husband. I was like, oh my goodness, you'll never believe what just happened. Taylor Swift just bought her master's back. like they're back. They're back. I was so excited. I might have cried a little bit. I was just so very happy. And that part gets me every time. Like anytime she talks about getting her master's back, I'm like, wah, wah. I don't sound like when I'm crying, but that's for my audio only listeners. That's my representation of me crying. And then getting engaged is so special. Like, say all you want about like, oh, we should highlight someone being accomplished and like not just talk about their love life. When I'm engaged, talk about my love life all you want, because I just got engaged. And I'm married now, and I can say that with full confidence. I mean, you watched her, right? Like, we all watched her in interviews be like, oh my gosh, look at my ring. Look at it. Look at my ring. She's so excited, and it made me so excited. And then releasing another album, like another huge accomplishment with her biggest debut in her career. Beautiful. Just beautiful way to wrap it up. A beautiful way to wrap it up. A beautiful way to end it. And yeah. So my final thoughts on the docuseries, it was wonderful. Like, it was very well made. It took in all aspects, took a look into all of the aspects of a monumental tour. She's already won a Tour of the Century award for tour. We're barely into the 21st century, y'all. Like, we're barely a quarter of the way in. She already won a Tour of the Century award. I was delighted with the editing choices. It was just perfection. It was the perfect docuseries. I think it's one of the best documentaries I've ever seen, truthfully. I'm not saying that just as a fan. It was very well made. It was very deliberately made. It highlighted so many different parts of the tour. Like, it highlighted the technical parts where she's like, this is how we chose this, this, and this. Then she highlighted emotional stories from her band, her dancers, like people she's worked with for years and years, people she just met for this tour, like all around. And I keep saying that, obviously. It was just phenomenal, and I am overjoyed that I got to watch it. And yeah, so we've got some more business to take care of that I had to keep a secret. I'm working on a set, like I said earlier, and I'm working on hopefully some guests. If not, you saw what we did today with my sister Callie. That'll be my backup plan, is to get clips from people and talk about what they've said about the topic. I'm hoping we can have live in-person guests, but this will make... It was intended to have more than one guest today, but it just didn't work out. So Callie was our only guest, and she's stunned. She was amazing. But we're working on it. Hopefully, it'll be just fine. Another really cool thing I'm starting, and I'm so very excited to talk about this. I'm starting a blog. So for fans from this last season, I wrote a blog post about Conan Gray getting snubbed for the Grammys. I'm continuing that with a topic from each episode. So this week's topic on my Substack page, which is linked in my Instagram bio, I will make sure it's on YouTube. It's in my link tree. It's just called blog. This week's topic is Taylor Swift being a good boss. And at the time of me filming this, I don't have a finished title yet, so I can't just give you the title. Hopefully in the future I'll be more up on it. But it's going to be fun. I'm excited. Sometimes they'll be very, like this topic is very integrated with the topic of the episode. And then sometimes it'll be maybe something I mention and just be like, oh, something such and such is coming up. Let me help you with that. Like, I think I'm going to do a Bad Bunny article for the Super Bowl. Like, I listened to the most likely, like the songs he's most likely to perform, so you didn't have to. Here's what you need to look out for. Here's your playlist in case you want to pregame the Super Bowl performance. Because I did that last year with Kendrick Lamar. 10 out of 10 experience. If you don't know the person's music, highly recommend pre-gaming their like top 10, because they're likely going to perform that, and then you're going to be like, oh, whoops, you're gonna be like, oh, I know this song. Like, I heard it earlier. Like, anyways, we'll talk about it later, obviously, when it gets closer to the Super Bowl. Yeah, usually this is the point where I tell you the topic for next week, but I have an idea of what it's gonna be. It depends on a couple things. It's guests. It depends on if I can get guests working. So I have the guest. I live with the guest, but it depends on if we can make the guest work in this space. It should work. We just gotta double check. Anyways, yeah, so all of Substack's on my website, musicbymads.com. Mads is spelled with 2 Ds. I'll put it on the screen, obviously. And then, yeah, there we go. So finally, people who have been fans for this whole time know what time it is. It is the very first Song of the Day segment for the season 2 of the Music by Mads podcast. And since it is a season debut, we have a special 10-song list. Actually, we're going to make it 11 because I have one more I want to put on there. So, number 1, I talked about it earlier. One of my favorite Taylor Swift songs off of Red, State of Grace. I think it deserves so much more love, so it's on this list. Go listen to it on the playlist. Then we've got I Just Might by Bruno Mars, of course. Brand new Bruno Mars song. Banger. Such a vibe. I cannot stop listening to it. Then we've got The Manuscript by Taylor Swift, of course. Most of these are Taylor Swift, obviously. I talked about that one as well throughout the episode. Marjorie from Evermore by Taylor Swift. Such a special song. I love that she got to pay tribute to her grandma in that way. Then we've got It's Time to Go from Evermore as well. I'm a big Evermore stan. What a beautiful, beautiful song about leaving when you need to. Wonderful. Then we've got Cowboy Like Me from Evermore by Taylor Swift. This is another underrated song. I think this is one of her best off of Evermore. I'm going to say it. I think it's one of her best off of Evermore. It's wonderful. Very callback to her country days, but with the folksy sounds of Evermore and folklore. Then we've got Fortnight from Tortured Poets Department, featuring Post Malone. Taylor Swift, obviously. Again, growing on me more and more each time I listen to it. Loved it on the tour. Phenomenal arrangement on the tour. Then we've got Electric Touch by Taylor Swift, featuring Fall Out Boy from Speak Now Taylor's version. I think this one is criminally underrated. I think it is one of her best vault tracks. I think it's so good. I don't see enough people talking about it. It's so good. I love it. And then Superman from Speak Now, both versions, by Taylor Swift. Also underrated. I think this one deserves more love than it gets. I've heard people be like, I hate this one. And I'm like, you're wrong. Which they're not wrong. Everybody has an opinion about art. And it's okay to not like a song. So the last one I had listed, which is Such a Funny Way by Sabrina Carpenter, The Man's Best Friend bonus track. Love it. It takes a couple listens because it's got some weird shifts in time, like in the way you feel time in it. But once you listen a couple times, you like really get that in your soul. It's perfect. It's immaculate. Love it. And then finally, with his return from a very long hiatus, we've got Aperture by Harry Styles. I saw someone describe it as deep house, and I was like, I have no idea what that means. And then I listened to it, and I was like, yeah, that's deep house. It's a little weird. It's not like his previous stuff, but also very much like his previous stuff. I'd say give it a couple listens if you're not historically open to new music, you know? Like different styles of music when you're expecting something else. Give it a couple listens. Perfect. Wonderful. I'm excited because it's very disco, very like it's going to be, I feel like this is the lead single without hearing the rest of the album. But he just announced his album and I'm so excited. We'll react to that for sure. I will talk about that album because it's been a minute. But yeah. Anyways, welcome back. I'm so excited to be back. I had some issues getting the episode out a week ago, but we're good. We're good now and we'll be fine. And I'm going to get ahead. So we can rest a little bit in between and just chill. Anyways, I'll see you guys next week. Follow me on all the places. I'm on iHeartRadio and Amazon Music now. So if you're listening on YouTube because I'm not on a different platform and you use one of those, there I am. And I hope you guys have a wonderful week. And I'll see ya. Bye.